Hi, good evening. It's Tawni Peterson, nurse practitioner from Adams County Health Center. Tonight I'm going to be doing a live feed on food, and food that can build your immune system, food that helps you reduce anxiety, food that will boost your moods. This topic could go on for weeks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make it simple. I've got some cheat sheets here so I can stay on track and talk kind of quickly. So if you have questions, you can leave it in the comment. Also to simplify it, what I did is I took foods that I have in my kitchen. Foods that would be easy for people to pull right out of their cabinet or out of their refrigerator. I didn't want to complicate it by going to the grocery store and getting all sorts of fun foods so that I could show you. If you just Google foods that build immune system, you'll come across all sorts of them. But I think some of the foods that I have in my home will be the same foods that you have in your home. Okay, so let's get started. When I do these classes at Adams County Health Center, I have a nice little group going. We meet one time a month. We started out as a weight loss group, and we've just morphed into a wellness group that cares about health and wellness and food that they eat. A lot of people are fighting different types of autoimmune disease, gut issues, weight problems, diabetes, hypertension. And what I try to teach people is that food is medicine. And tonight I hope that you will be able to take that with you, knowing that you don't necessarily have to run out and buy a supplement or buy Zicam or buy Emergency, because you could actually be eating these things and getting all the nutrients that you need without having to go to the grocery store and supplement. So let's start with foods that boost the immune system. Vitamin C. And everybody pretty well knows what these foods are. These are foods that I have in my house right now. So grapefruit, oranges, lemons, limes. We all know how we can eat our fruit. Let's see, I also have a pineapple. But one of the things that you can do with fruit, outside of just eating it and making fruit salad and that type of thing, but did you know you can roast your fruit? And so you can cut it into slices. You can glaze it with different things. Sometimes I put butter and a little bit of coconut sugar, and I just glaze it that way. Sometimes I mix honey and I take a little bit of water and mix honey with that so it's not so thick, and I'll glaze it with that, and I'll put it on my Traeger. And I will eat it then as like finger foods, or maybe I'll put it into a salad. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can get your fruit. Rather than drinking flavored water, never purchase flavored water. Drink just good, healthy, regular water and flavor it yourself. Take fruit and muddle it. Take fruit and just drop it in it. Take lemon and lime and squeeze it into your water. I did not have a red bell pepper. We ate that last night. But I have other peppers. What I learned though, and I did not realize this, is that ounce for ounce, red bell peppers have more vitamin C in it than citrus fruit does. So although my yellow and my orange is packed with nutrients, it doesn't quite carry as much vitamin C as the red pepper. Okay, moving on, building your immune system. How about garlic? I think everybody probably likes garlic, but a lot of people shy away from garlic. Some people don't know for sure what to do with their garlic. We go through a lot of garlic. We use it in a lot of different ways. We might just mince it. We might just use it as whole cloves. Last night we cooked elk backstrap, and we melted butter in our cast iron, and then we had whole cloves of garlic that we laid down, and then we put the backstrap on top of that. So it gave our steak a really good flavor, and then we ate the garlic along with it. But oftentimes I will mince it, and I will put it in salad dressings. I'll throw it into salads. I'll mix it into all sorts of vegetables. I try really hard to get garlic into our diet just because of it being an immune booster. Vitamin D is a great way of supporting the immune system. And one of the ways that you can get vitamin D is in yogurt. So I always make our yogurt. I use our Instapot to make our yogurt. This one finished today because we do eat our yogurt every single day. After you, if you use an Instapot, after you pour it into your strainer that you can see here, now it is set up, it's plain Greek yogurt, it strains, and then you have whey. And so when we talk about gut health, I'll go a little bit deeper into your plain Greek yogurt and your whey. But that's a great way to support your immune system. Almonds and nuts are full of vitamin E, and vitamin E is a great way to support your immune system as well. So I always keep mixed nuts in the house. It has cashews and it has your almonds, it has all the nuts in it. But I always keep just plain cashews and plain almonds as well, only because they are so high in vitamin E and it's such a great way to support your immune system. So moving on to zinc, I just always think about Zicam and how many people go out and purchase Zicam, and I'm just like, I'm not against Zicam, I just don't understand why people wouldn't just eat the vitamins and minerals that they need instead of always thinking that they need to go purchase them. So a rich source of Zicam is cashews, beef, egg yolks. I try to buy farm fresh eggs, and if I'm not able to buy farm fresh eggs, then I try to buy eggs where the chickens are organically fed. When I'm doing my classes at ACHC, we talk a lot about organic. I've done a class on eating organic for $5 a day, just to show people that eating organic does not have to be expensive. There are times that I'm in the grocery store and I'm looking at organic versus non-organic and the prices, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really tempting sometimes to buy the non-organic. But this is the way I look at food. Food is medicine. And what we put in our body helps to determine what our health is going to be. So I personally would rather spend money on my groceries than I would at a doctor's appointment or at the pharmacy. That's the way I look at it. Broccoli is a superfood. It's full of zinc. It's actually loaded with vitamins and minerals. And broccoli is such an easy one because it's inexpensive and you can do anything with it. You can throw it into your salads. You can steam it. You can grill it. I've even put it in my smoothies. I'll show you a recipe that I'm doing tonight with broccoli. Kale, I try to always keep kale around. Kale's also a superfood. I'm actually really low on my dark leafy greens tonight, so I'll show you what I have because I generally have spinach and kale and my mixture of dark leafy greens. But this is just my way of showing, you run out, and then when you run out, you substitute. What else do you have in the house? What else can you feed your body with? Remember that you want to spend time with your meals mixing and matching. You don't want to stay with the same foods and eat the same foods all the time, even if you have your favorites, because every single food brings something different nutritionally to your body. I did not realize that both almond butter and peanut butter are great sources of zinc. I did know that they are chock full of healthy oils and great protein, but I did not know that they were full of zinc. So chickpeas, lentils, and beans are a great source of zinc. And what I like to do is I try to buy very little canned food. Now, when this whole COVID thing came around and my pantry was very void of canned food, I did get a little bit nervous. But then I realized why. Why am I nervous? I still don't need that canned food. With these beans, I prefer to buy uncooked beans. It doesn't bother me that I have to soak them because I meal plan. And I know for a week to 2 weeks before, I meal plan for 1 to 2 weeks before. So I always know what I'm going to be eating. So I know ahead of time if I'm going to need to soak my beans. So if you're buying canned beans, those beans have added sugar, They have some type of an ingredient in them that helps them keep their color, that helps them keep their texture, and they're also full of salt. And so it's like, well, if food is medicine, then I would rather stay away from that. Tonight I'll show you another cool recipe that I do with my beans. There's so many different things that you can do with beans, whether it's making your soups or you're making side salads. And sometimes I just cook beans up and I'll put some Bragg's amino acid over them and just eat them that way as a snack. Let's see, chia seeds, quinoa grain. I actually didn't know either until tonight that chia seeds are packed full of zinc. That was a new one. And quinoa grain. Quinoa is just a great grain to have around. Really easy to cook, full of nutrients, and high in zinc. And then shellfish, liver, and mushrooms. The other method to helping build or strengthen your immune system is through spices. Now, you can buy, I don't know, yeah, you can see that. Let me turn this a bit. You can buy your spices, and I love to buy spices. I'm not against buying spices. Or you can grow your herbs and then dry your spices, which I also love to do. So what I do when I run out of spice, if I know that I'll be growing that herb later and I'm going to dry it, I'll just dry it and then crumble it and put it back into its container. But there's so many cool things that you can do with spices. So a few of my favorites to boost my immune system are ginger, garlic, turmeric, and capsaicin. So oftentimes I keep chili peppers around, and I try to put chili peppers, I hide them in different things. I'll hide them in soups, and we'll put them in with different meat dishes. And there's just so many, once you start mixing and matching different vegetables, sometimes I'll throw them in with my roasted vegetables, and then sometimes I will just use like my red chili pepper flakes. What else do I have here? I just said any of these spices can be added to soups, stir fries, or salad dressings. That's another one that I do, is I take a variety of herbs. Let me see. Oh, here's my salad dressing. So I will take olive oil and balsamic vinegar, and I just load this up with any kind of spice I feel like at the time. So I'm always making different salad dressings. But this one has fresh garlic. It has fresh oregano, fresh parsley. I put Himalayan salt. I put pepper. I put red chili flakes. I put some rosemary. I think that was it. And it's delicious. So not only do I use that on salads, but I will put that over vegetables too. Have to have my cheat sheet. Sorry about this. Okay, green tea. Green tea is a really powerful antioxidant, and food items that are high in antioxidants fight free radical damage, which ultimately strengthens your immune system. So, green tea is one of my favorites. I tend to drink 1 or 2 cups of green tea a day, and I will mix that up, and I'll show you how. So sometimes I take this fun mixture, and what this is honey that Radley, my middle son, he has his honeybees, and I take his honey and I cut up lemon wedges. I wash the skins real well, cut them up, and I stuff them into this honey jar, and then I peel my oh my gosh, I don't peel my garlic, trust me. Let's see. I kind of lost my mind for a minute. I peel my ginger, sorry. I peel my ginger, and then I stuff it into the jar as well, and then I refrigerate this. And usually I have anywhere from 5 or 10 of these in the refrigerator at a time. You can use these in a variety of ways. You can use this as a cough syrup, so you could just take like a teaspoon of it. It helps to soothe your throat, but it's a great immune booster. And so sometimes I drink that just in plain hot water, and sometimes I add it to my green tea. Now, matcha, some people are not a real big fan of matcha. I personally love matcha. I just love the taste of it. But 1 cup of matcha tea is equivalent to 10 cups of brewed green tea. So generally speaking though, when I drink my matcha tea, I make it into, I don't know if you guys drink the bulletproof coffee, but I will use matcha in place of the coffee and make my bulletproof matcha. So let's talk about omega-3s to boost the immune system. People are very familiar with salmon, wild Alaska salmon being really high in omega-3s, and it's a great way to get your omega-3s. But my favorite way to get omega-3s is ground flaxseed. These seeds are actually whole because I've been grinding my own lately, but I'm not against buying ground flaxseed. I will throw my ground flaxseed in everything. I throw it in my smoothies, I throw it in my salads, I drink it in the morning with a cup of hot water. There's so many different ways that you can eat your ground flax seeds. I even had one young patient who had his mother putting the ground flax seeds on top of a pork chop, which I thought was really cool. But what I like to tell people is remember to get full benefit of your ground flaxseed, you need to follow it with a glass of water. So back to omega-3s. So chia seeds and hemp seeds back there, they're full of omega-3s, and walnuts are full of omega-3s. Foods that are not quite as high in omega-3s but still have them are spinach and Brussels sprouts. And like I said, we try to incorporate those at least, spinach almost every day, but Brussels sprouts 1 time a week. Gut health. If your gut is not healthy, so in class I would get more in detail on what an unhealthy gut looks like. I won't do that on Facebook Live. But if your gut is not strong and healthy, your immune system is going to struggle. So remember that 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut. And so it's really, really important to keep a healthy gut. And there's many other reasons too. Inflammation, and it reduces the inflammation, and it balances blood sugars, and it helps to boost your mood and decrease anxiety. There's many reasons to have a strong, healthy gut. But today we're talking about the immune system. So how do you get a healthy gut? There's many ways. I have a whole class that's coming out on that, but let's make it really simple for today. And we're going to talk about just balancing microflora through prebiotics and probiotics. So to start with, for prebiotics, a really good way to get a prebiotic is through dandelion root. Sometimes I use that as an herb, but I like to drink my dandelion tea. I always have something at my desk, whether it's just fresh water that I put lemon in, fresh water that I put ginger in, or maybe I'll be drinking my dandelion tea, maybe I'll be drinking my green tea, and then that way I'm just assured that I'm going to get the proper amount of liquid in that I need in a day. Another prebiotic is garlic, onion, bananas, apples, flaxseed, and seaweed. We will be talking about seaweed in a little bit too. So probiotics, and this is just a small list, this is just what I have in my home, is yogurt, water kefir. So I always keep my water kefir going. I don't know if you can see in there, but there's the water kefir grains. It takes like 3 to 4 days to make a new batch of water kefir. It's really good. It's kind of sweet, a tiny bit carbonated, and it's just so refreshing. And sometimes I will even mix water with my water kefir, but that's a great probiotic. Kombucha. So Rio's the kombucha king, and he started this one last night. We tried a different tea, so it's dark. Usually it's not quite this dark, and the baby mushroom is in there somewhere. Can't see it because of that dark tea. I would like to say that I'm good about making my kombucha, and I'm not great at it. I'm best at it when Rio's here. So if you don't make it, you can purchase it. This just happens to be Synergy. I try all different types of kombucha, But it's so refreshing, it's so good, it's a great probiotic, it's a wonderful substitute for soda pop. If you try one and you don't like it, then try a different brand or try a different flavor. I have people say, I wanted to drink kombucha, I just didn't like it. Well, give it another try. One of the things that Hobie and I do when we travel is it's one of my favorite things to do, and that is to seek out kombucha stores. And so we like to go in and we like to sit at the kombucha bars and try the different kombucha, and it's just a lot of fun once you start drinking it, and even more fun once you start making it. So another great probiotic is sauerkraut, which I generally have sauerkraut going, and I teach class also on how to make probiotics, and sauerkraut is one of them, how to ferment, but we ate all of our sauerkraut. I'm gonna have to start a new batch. So we were going to talk about spirulina. Spirulina is really dark. I don't know if you can see this. That's it. It's so dark that you can't hardly see it. But spirulina is the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. I love saying that. It's a great source of protein, zinc, and has omega-3 fatty acids, and it's an excellent antioxidant. So this is Rio's concoction here. And what he does is he takes spirulina, and then he takes turmeric and ginger. He takes the ready ginger, and then coconut sugar, a little bit of coconut sugar, and he mixes these up, and he puts it in his morning coffee. One of my favorite stories to tell is when Rio was in the hospital, at Craig Hospital, he was taken off tube feeding, and he refused to eat the food cooked by the hospital. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't what we were used to eating. We're really, really in tune with cooking whole food. And so between Hobie and my mother and me rotating in and out of Denver, we made sure that his breakfast, lunch, and dinner was always brought to him. And then he threw in, he wanted his seaweed in his coffee in the morning. So he was being fed exceptionally well. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go over to this other table. There's a couple things I wanted to show you over here. So over here I have, this is just, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you just how easy it is if you have meal prepped, and so you've got your groceries for 2 weeks, and you kind of have an idea, you know, what you're going to be cooking each night. So tonight I knew we're going to have chicken breast, but I wanted to do roasted vegetables, and so I cut up what I had in the refrigerator, and that was broccoli and cauliflower, carrots, onions, garlic, and summer squash. So I cut all of that up, and then I mixed up this dressing that I'll pour over it, and it has olive oil and balsamic vinegar. It has rosemary, it has fresh garlic, it has fresh oregano, fresh basil, and even a little bit of mint in there. And then Himalayan salt and pepper. And then what I do with this is I just pour it over these vegetables. It's so simple. And I won't waste your time by watching me pour it. There will be plenty of this, but I'll pour it over all of this. I could easily put this in the oven, but instead I'll just put it on my Traeger. And that's just a great way to get a really good hefty serving of vegetables. What I'll do with the leftovers tomorrow is I will put them on a salad. Sometimes I'll just put them into a container and take them to work with me and eat them while I'm sitting at my desk. Some mornings I'll throw them in the air fryer just to warm them and to make them just a little, kind of just bring some of the crunch back to them, and I'll eat them for breakfast. We've even been known to put them on our sandwiches and eat them in our sandwiches. One of the other things that we'll be eating tonight is I had made beans earlier in the day. So these beans are ready to go. They're 13 beans. So remember, of course, they're high in protein, but they're also high in zinc and many other nutrients. And then I had cut up some vegetables, some more vegetables, and what this is it's cucumber and tomato and garlic, Some of my fresh herbs again, the oregano and parsley and basil. So what I find is when I'm meal planning, I think of things that, like I keep talking about these herbs that I'm using tonight, and that way I've done a lot of chopping, but it's going to make all of my dishes. Sometimes on Sunday I'll sit down and maybe watch 60 Minutes and do all of my chopping then and just bag things for the week. And so anyway, I'll just take these vegetables and this mixture here, it's got some fresh lemon, and I will pour them right over the beans. I wish so much that you could smell this, because it might seem, just by seeing it in the picture, that it would be, I don't know, just bland, but it is absolutely delicious. So what you want to shoot for is you want to shoot for three large servings of vegetables a day. I actually have the calculation what that means, like how many half cups or whatever, but I just think to myself, if I can get 3 large servings of vegetables a day, so it's not uncommon to eat my vegetables in the morning, I always eat them at lunch, I always eat them at dinner, sometimes I'll eat them as snacks. So that is smelling delicious right now. I wanted to show you a couple drinks that I make too. Okay, so one of them is the turmeric tea. It might be too much work to actually show you that, so I'll just read it to you. So you take ginger root, and I go ahead and peel my ginger, and 3 cups of water, and then I take a cinnamon stick, which I'm out of cinnamon sticks. So tonight I would have actually used just a little bit of cinnamon. A 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, a pinch of cayenne pepper, 3 tablespoons of lemon juice that's freshly squeezed, and then a tablespoon of honey. When I do that, sometimes I just use my mixture here because it's already got my lemon and my honey, and then it's got ginger. So in that case, I would just need water and some cinnamon and some cayenne pepper, and I just drink that warm. It's absolutely delicious. Let me see, I thought I had another drink on here. I'm not seeing it. I sure wanted to share that with you, so I may have to post it. Well, I don't see it, and I certainly don't want to waste your time. So let's go ahead and wrap this class up tonight. I have some takeaways I wanted to give you. So here's some takeaways. It is, when you can't eat fresh, eat frozen. Eat a variety of foods. Eat a rainbow of colors. I used to love how my mother would say that to me. So keep in mind, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, but I was raised by a mother that loved to cook. And she loved to cook whole foods, nutritionally dense foods, and she incorporated that into our lives. And it was one of the best gifts that anybody could give me. And then what did she do? She turned around and she taught that to my children. And so oftentimes when I'm cooking, I can hear her in my mind saying, eat the rainbow, add the colors. Don't those colors make you happy? Can you see how those colors are going to be feeding you? Anyway, so think about that when you're cooking. Eat foods in combination to get the synergistic effects, and we were talking about that earlier, like I'm seeing some of these things that I'm out of and I wish I had. But when you really start looking at all of the different types of foods that are here, the squash, the summer squash, cilantro, the onion, I mean, you have to be very mindful that you don't just go to the store and repeatedly get the exact same foods, because you're trying to just get as many nutrients as you possibly can from as many foods as possible. Here it is right here that I wanted to say. Eat 3 to 4 servings of plant foods per day, and a serving equals a half cup of cooked or 1 cup of raw or leafy, or 1 medium-sized fruit. One of the things I do when I see a patient for the first time and we're trying to figure out their health issues is I say, get rid of the packaged food. Get rid of the packaged food, get rid of the junk food. Break yourself away from all of the baked goods. A lot of these foods, people consider them comfort foods, and when it's stressful or they're just not feeling right about situations like the coronavirus, they tend to gravitate towards junk foods or foods that might bring them happiness. But what they find is then they're sick. They're sick, they're miserable, and then they're saying to me, what am I going to do? I can't tell you how many of my patients have gotten a hold of me and said, I got to get back into the program. My joints are so swollen, I've gained weight, I'm depressed, I'm fatigued, and they already know, what are we going to do? We're going to start by eliminating the junk out of your diet and putting in nutritionally rich, dense foods. Drink water. That is one of the things that I have the hardest time getting through to people is the importance of drinking just water, just good quality water. Stay away from all of the flavored waters and different packaged waters, and just find a good water source and then add your flavor if you would like. Okay, that is it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm sure there's things that I have on my notes that I forgot, because I generally do. If you have questions, just leave them in the comments. I will go ahead and post some different recipes on our Facebook page and our website, just to give you an idea of some of the things we talked about today and what you can do with some of these foods. Remember, this is just a tiny, tiny portion of the foods that you can eat. I'll be doing a class again next week, but because I was a little bit busy this week, I didn't get a chance to think what the topic was. We are open at Adams County Health Center and seeing patients, and I continue to see patients virtually so that they can stay in the comfort of their own home and not have to worry about going out. We are really busy right now, which that means a lot to me and everybody at our clinic, because that means that we are keeping people from having to go to the hospital, having to go use the emergency room. And the travel's difficult, but also we're helping the hospitals out by not overburdening them. So if you want to be seen in person, all you have to do is call the clinic, 208-253-4242. Or if you would prefer to have a virtual visit, a visit over the internet, same thing, you just call the clinic and then you will be having an appointment with me virtually. Thank you so much for joining tonight, and I will see you next week. I'll come up with some type of a topic. Thanks a lot.